Ciao ragazzi, good day everybody. I'm Luca, I'm from Italy, as I was telling you, and some of the people, especially my colleagues, know me because I'm kind of opinionated about a lot of things. One of those being Jupyter, but there's also some other things like package managers and data frame libraries, but more on that later. A couple of weeks ago, I was working with my colleague, reviewing a notebook of a workshop we were going to give at the Applied conferences about AI. And we were talking on notebooks because we had to version them on GitHub. We had to, right? And I noticed it was a pain, a real pain in the neck to work with those because I couldn't highlight them, I couldn't comment them as I would with regular code, right? Say, okay, I want to comment this. You can't do this with notebooks on Jupyter. And here is where I found out one of the out of the all 3,000 plus repositories I started on my repo, I found out a perfect use case for this library. It's called Marimo. Marimo is a next generation Python notebook. I did not develop it, but you might have seen it trending around. And today I would like to talk a bit about it. And Marimo is really great. It is a notebook that you can install. Here I'm using Rye because I'm really opinionated about the library. And you see here how streamlined it is. And it's not just about that. The first thing is, it is a reactive notebook. So if you change something, the whole notebooks or the cells that depend on this one that you modified will be re-executed. And this means that you don't have to deal with the complexity of Jupyter, whereas if you have to restart the kernel very often, otherwise you will just mess up with the state. But also, one of the really comfortable things about Marimo is that since it builds a DAG, it doesn't really matter the ordering of the cells. So for example, here you have all the inputs at the bottom. And this makes for building a really more coherent and entertaining narrative that you can use to build a storytelling out of the data, for example, that you're analyzing. And you see here, this is the editor. The development is really fast. You see that you can import Marimo as MO to add interactive elements. You can hide and turn content from Markdown to something else. You can hide certain cells and some others. For example, if you need to hide some code, Command H. There we go, it becomes a bit easier to manipulate. You have a small file navigator. You can explore the DAG and see what cells depend on other cells. But the funniest thing is that it has a bit of a Streamlit vibe, whereas if you just go Command plus, there we go, this just becomes a fully fledged web application that you can host on their website, and then you can sort of start working interactively on the repository and build a small thing that you can or might want to work with. In this case, for example, exploring the MNIST dataset embeddings. And this is really great because the interoperability is seamless, and while you see all the code here, you can still interact with this one, and it's really, really lovely, and I really like it. And I'm using it a lot. You see here that it has a bit of UI quirks and all the stuff like that. And it was really great to find out. And it was super fun. The funniest thing being that it is actually plain text. It is a pure Python file. So you don't have a notebook that is a messy blob of JSON. And when you make a PR, you can actually comment on the data. And you see here it has this, right now, still quirky thing where every cell is basically a Python function that is an anonymous function. This implies some oddities. For example, then you cannot use the same name of the redefine, for example, a variable across different cells because it wants to retain a global state. But still, I would argue that it's pretty comfortable to use. And so if you want to check out the website, you can also do a really nice thing called marimo.new. And here you have a fully cloud action. It's not cloud. This is a Pyodide, so it's all in your browser, which can uses MicroPython to run Python in your code. So if you need to do a quick exercise, a quick tutorial, or share stuff with people, that really comes really in handy. And I will highly recommend to check that out because it's a project that is growing, and I truly believe it can become your new Python notebook for your stuff. If you have any feedback tomorrow, a bit of a sponsorship, I will be talking about a library I maintain, and I will have a couple of notebooks in Marimo. Thank you for your time.